Hello everyone and welcome to the post-game show of round 4 of the Cairns Cup. We prepare for you some highlights of today's round. I'm Women Grandmaster Katerina Nemcova and I'm joined by International Masters Almira Skripchenko and Paikidze.
What a great day it was.
Great day, exciting games, and let's take a look at the final standings after round 4. We have Humpy Koneru, Harika, Dronavalli and Alice Lee all tied for the first place. As you can see, Humpy Koneru and Harika, Dronavalli, they managed to win while Alice Lee drew and they all have 3 points. Then Alina Kashlinskaya clear 4th with 2.5 points, and then a big tie, 5-way tie for the 5th place. Tan Zhongyi, Assaubayeva, Nana Dzagnidze, Maria Muzychuk and Kashlinskaya with 1.5 points. And the 10th place so far for Batsiashvili with 1 point. Now we start the recap with the game of Humpy Koneru against Assaubayeva. I think this game was a positional masterpiece. Humpy Koneru traded queens and they then started to grab one tiny advantage after another, converting it to a very nice win. Let's take a look. But Nazi, you have breaking news for us?
Yes, one game that's getting even closer to being over is Humpy Koneru against Bibisara. This last move, knight d7, another mistake for black, although it's very tough to play this position. And now the most easiest winning move is bishop takes e6. We've been thinking about the sacrifice before to just even give up a piece and take up pawns, but here we're not even giving up a piece because rook, the knight on d7 is just hanging. So this is just absolutely winning on the spot.
Oh wait, Nancy, but can I play knight? No. Oh no! So, you know, I wanted to make the move knight a8, but then knight c7 mate. It was like, you know, you want to protect your knight on d7, of course,
yes.
But
because you don't expect to get mated like this. Yes.
You need your commentators to, you know, to get.
So after bishop e6, you can't touch the bishop. You have to move the knight. And then white's free to pick up more. You can take on f7 maybe because of rook f8, although it says it's still fine, but any move, just bishop g4, this position, I mean, we have an extra pawn in the compensation. This position is amazing. The knight on a6 is still useless. We play knight b5. This is more than +3. This game is going to be over very soon.
This game is probably going to be over soon. Yeah, +3, I see the computer. That's a giant advantage.
And Humpy is going to be on +3 after this game. If she wins this game, she's sharing for the 2nd place right now. But this game is going to be crucial for the standings. If Alice Lee will not defend her leading positions in her game against Tan Zhongyi, then Humpy is going to be the new leader of the Cairns Cup after the 4th round.
And Humpy is in first. With this victory, it will be up to Alice to see if she can join Humpy. This was a very big victory for you. It was the first time you played, Bibi.
No, we played several times.
Yeah.
We also played in this chess.com Armageddon match as well. This Bleach events, women events.
But for classical?
Also in the classical, in many of the Grand Prix events.
I got you.
So yeah, we both knew each other very well. So it wasn't any surprise. But I think today she played a bit very weak.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't play her at her best, but nonetheless, that puts you in first. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's good. Always feels good to get a win with white.
Clear.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's also very important in the tournament. Of course, it's a long tournament and it's many crucial games ahead. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us and good luck in the rest of the event.
Thank you.
Hope to have you again on our show. Back to you in studio.
And Nazi, over to you. Which game you want to recap?
Well, I want to show you this one game that ended in a quick draw. It was between Alina Kashlinskaya and Batsiashvili. The opening was Queen's Gambit declined, and both girls knew their opening very well. Nothing eventful happened in this game because you can't win if your opponent doesn't make any inaccuracies. And as you can see on my screen, both players played with almost 99% accuracy. So I can show you quickly how it continued, but absolutely no mistakes. As you can see on my screen, no yellow moves, no red moves, just perfect play from both sides, and eventually ended in a draw in the queen endgame. So back to you, Almira.
Thank you, Nazi. Maria Muzychuk is back in the race. She emerged victorious in her game against Carissa Yip, and it was quite a battle. So let's review this game for your pleasure. Last move by Carissa was Rook d8, and I think that White has a chance to play f5 here.
Because finally the queen on d3 is helping on the diagonal to support this push. So why is this a big problem? First of all, it looks uncomfortable because just trying always to target that that pawn in front of the king is dangerous, but also the rook on f1, right? It's going to be open together with the bishop on d4 kind of targeting the knight.
Of course, and you remember that I told you the key to this position is the bishop on e6, and Carissa chose the wrong plan.
Carissa has to take on f5, and after that, e takes f. Almira's line knight h4 would have worked if it wasn't for this in-between move c5, and now black is good again. But after we take on f5, what do we do with the bishop? You can't stay on d5, right? Bishop f6 and the bishop hangs. You have to go back somewhere.
Then you take, no?
Exactly, you take on f6, you play knight d5, all forcing moves. And when you move the bishop, I play f6, there's knight e7 coming, this is just game
knight
over.
Knight g5 coming even, trying to checkmate with the queen on h7.
So many threats. It all falls apart so fast, the queen is out of play, and all black pieces suddenly so passive, even though they have two bishops versus two knights, and typically bishops are not the passive ones, right? It's an open position. So it's a very concrete line. If Maria sees this, if she takes on f6 and goes knight d5, +3. Even if you don't go bishop g7, let's say you save a tempo, it's still completely lost after f6.
And just let me bring you up to date in this game. So Maria started the game with playing d4, maybe going for some queen's gambit, but Carissa responded with d6, allowing transposition to perk. And it was kind of interesting way how Maria sacrificed a pair of bishops or traded for a knight at the edge of the board, but then got really active position, and Carissa blundered, playing rook a8, kind of natural move, but forgetting that Maria had this really strong f5 push, getting incredible advantage, and then with her proper continuation on capturing on f6 and then pushing the pawn to f6, it's likely she's going to win.
Overall, I think this round was very, very interesting.
And we see a handshake. Congratulations to Maria Muzychuk, her first win in this tournament. What a great technique in this rook endgame.
Nazi, back to you. I'm throwing the ball.
Thank you, Almira. I have one more game for you. Coming into this round, the tournament leader was Alice Lee, and she was facing today the top seed Tan Zhongyi. This was our key matchup, and it was a very interesting game. It started with the Queen's Gambit declined, and Alice chose this opening variation with h6 and a6, which has been becoming more and more popular. The interesting moment happened here after move 21. After queen takes a5, Alice had to play bishop c2 and quickly take back the pawn on b3, but instead she played queen g5, threatening bishop takes h3. Here, Tan found the best move, bishop g4, and after a couple of moves, you see the eval bar white was much better, +1.5. But it didn't last very long, because after a couple of moves, right here, Tan made a mistake. I believe she blundered a pawn, which of course Alice took advantage of. Bishop takes f4. The idea is that if you take with the pawn, rook takes d4, rook d4, and queen e3. This is a very equal major piece endgame. Instead of this, we see in the game, Alice continued with rook takes f4, takes, and everything came off. Tan still has an extra pawn, but Alice showed very good technique in this endgame and saved it very well. It went all the way down to just rook and one pawn against the king, and then they repeat it here. So fantastic result for Alice, saving against Tan Zhongyi. Back to you.
The last game to talk about is between Nana Dzagnidze and Harika Dronavalli. I think this game was the messiest game of this round. It was a double-edged game where at first we thought that it's going to be extremely equal, but then Nana Dzagnidze managed to find this really strong h3 move, and she started to push for some advantage, but then it was Harika who turned it around and managed to win the game. Let's take a look. And you know, just to summarize this game, like it started as a call system, extremely symmetrical, completely symmetrical, both players having the same pieces. But then it was Nana who tried to be a little more creative, and she managed to have actually some advantage with really strong move h3, which guaranteed some attack on the king side. But what happened later is she probably mismanaged her position, especially with kind of a filler move, bishop d4, which looked good, kind of putting the bishop into the center, but doing nothing for her position. And then it was time for Harika to turn the board around and go for advantage. And she did so beautifully with a pair of bishop, making the position so difficult for white until white's pieces really couldn't move around. And we are expecting her to close on this win and just win the game.
Scuff
And we have a result here. Congratulations to Harika Dronavalli, who scored another important win against Nana Dzagnidze. And she's now tied for first. So those were all the exciting games of today. So let's take a look at standings, or pairings, pardon me. So pairings for tomorrow for round 5, Alice Lee against Humpy Koneru. This is going to be definitely the key matchup. We have the co-leaders playing each other. Then Carissa Yip against Nana Dzagnidze. Harika Dronavalli, also co-leader, playing Tan Zhongyi, the returning champion. This is also going to be a match to watch out for. Nino Batsiashvili against Maria Muzychuk, and Bibisara Assaubayeva against Alina Kashlinskaya.
Wow, that first board, right, Alice Lee? Can't wait to see what tomorrow brings.
Looking forward to it.
Girls, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching and see you tomorrow.
Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.